The crack of gunfire split the night, echoing through the trees like thunder. My heart stopped when I realized it had come from my own house, more specifically from my 17-year-old son's hands. And the cabin he'd aimed at. It didn't belong to some eccentric old farmer like we thought it belonged to a 4-star general. That was the night my life shattered and the HOA finally got the excuse they'd been waiting for to try and bury my family for good. My name is Karen Mitchell, and I've lived in Sunrise Estates for nearly 10 years. A tidy little neighborhood, nice lawns, white fences, and a homeowners association run like a petty dictatorship by Linda Carter. Imagine every stereotype of a control-obsessed, power-hungry Karen, and then crank it up by 10. Linda patrolled our streets like a cop with a badge, only she believed in ticketing people for leaving Christmas lights up a week too long, threatening fines if your grass dared grow taller than regulation height. And me. She hated me the most. I wrote a small blog on local corruption, and every time I posted about HOA abuses, Linda took it personally. She wanted me gone. But none of that compared to the night I found Logan by his bedroom window, pale shaking, still holding the family's old hunting rifle. His voice cracked as he whispered, "Mom." I shot at that weird old guy's cabin. My stomach dropped. This wasn't mischievous teenage stupidity. He wasn't laughing. He wasn't bragging. He looked like he'd just destroyed his own future. The flicker of distant security lights confirmed the shot hadn't been some fantasy. I called 911 with trembling hands. Minutes later, the yard filled with flashing lights and neighbors spilled out of their houses watching, whispering. Linda Carter stood in her robe smirking like Christmas had come early. "I warned you all," she told the officers loudly, making sure the whole block heard. "That family is dangerous. She's raising a criminal." The police weren't alone. Within hours, black SUVs rolled in and FBI agents knocked on my door. They didn't look amused. Agent Morrison told me flatly, "Mrs. Mitchell, your son targeted the cabin of General Wesley Cade, a decorated 4-star officer. That property is a federal evidence storage site." My head spun. Then she showed me thermal footage of Logan taking careful aim, disproving his claims of an accident. They even found his phone had been wiped with military-grade software. I remember staring at Logan, my own son, and for the first time I questioned if I really knew him at all. Linda Carter seized the moment like a vulture calling for an emergency HOA meeting. "If we don't evict the Mitchells immediately," she barked, "our whole community will be labeled as harboring terrorists." Neighbors nodded, muttering. I wanted to scream. The days after were a blur of shame and suspicion. Kids at school called Logan a terrorist. Anonymous notes were shoved under our door. "Get out before you get us all killed." I barely slept, wondering had I failed as a mother. Had my own negligence raised a criminal? There was a moment, I'll admit, when I almost signed a for sale document Linda herself had conveniently slipped into my mailbox. Just run away, I thought. Give up. Maybe Linda's right. But then the twist came. General Cade himself refused to press charges. Instead, he sent a message, literally a bullet wrapped in paper dots and dashes scrawled across it. Morse code. Child being controlled. Check web history. 72 hours to find the real perpetrator. My blood ran cold. Someone had set Logan up. That's when I called Jeffrey Stone, an old friend from my journalism days. He brought in equipment that looked straight out of a spy movie, and within hours he uncovered what I'd feared: Logan had been hacked, blackmailed. A shadowy contractor called Black Raven Security had dug up records of a car accident Logan caused at 13 records sealed by the court and used them to control him. "They've been using kids all over the country," Jeffrey muttered grimly. "Hackers, military brats, honor students with skeletons in their past. They weaponize them." Suddenly, everything made sense. Logan wasn't some delinquent, he was a pawn. But try telling that to Linda Carter. At the HOA's emergency meeting, she stood at the podium in her tacky floral blazer, voice shrill. "Look at the facts." This boy carefully aimed and fired at federal property. His mother defends him instead of protecting us. They both need to go. She pointed straight at me like she was casting a spell. I rose, hands shaking but voice steady. My son is being manipulated by criminals. I have evidence. I held up Jeffrey's files, but Linda laughed, waving her hand. Oh, please. Karen, you expect us to believe in some grand conspiracy. You're just covering your tracks. She motioned for security to drag me out, and right when despair threatened to crush me again, the doors opened and in walked General Cade himself, medals glinting presence commanding. This boy is a victim, he announced, and if you throw his family to the wolves, you'll be doing the enemy's work for them. The room erupted gasps, arguments, shouts. For the first time, Linda didn't look so sure of herself. But she wasn't finished. A few nights later, headlights flooded my driveway. Linda showed up flanked by 3 HOA loyalists, middle-aged men with guns they had no business carrying. She stood on my lawn, sneering. Come out, Karen. You've embarrassed this neighborhood long enough. Leave quietly, or you'll regret it. My hands shook as I pulled Logan behind me. What Linda didn't know was that Jeffrey had wired up hidden cameras all over my porch. General Cade, waiting nearby, activated a secure live stream. As Linda pointed a pistol at my front door, every word, every threat broadcast straight to the FBI and half a dozen news outlets. I stepped outside, refusing to cower, and saw her eyes widen when she realized too late she was caught on tape. Sirens wailed within minutes. Black SUVs and squad cars swarmed the street. Black Raven operatives tried to slip away, but agents tackled them on the pavement. Linda screamed, twisting in handcuffs, shrieking, I was protecting the community. I was protecting you all. But the neighbors, the same ones who once nodded at her speeches, now stood silent, some even shaking their heads. As Linda was shoved into the back of a squad car, I felt no joy, no triumph, just exhaustion. My son was safe, but scarred. The HOA that once dictated the color of my mailbox had turned into a weapon, a stage for Linda's obsession with control, and in the end, her hunger for power made her ally with real criminals. That night, watching her face disappear behind steel bars, one truth burned in my chest. Sometimes the worst danger to a community doesn't come from outside threats. It comes from the people who claim to protect it.